set.
Ah, yeah, baby! Welcome to Stoppage Time with IPJ and my man, John Buckets!
Ah! Sorry, I cut you off there.
Fuck are you wearing, dude? What is that?
It is not a sex thing. I'm going to start off right off the bat with that. It's not a sex thing. It is a wonderful pink little shark onesie that someone very important to me got, IPJ.
Oh, is it like a Christmas thing?
Yeah, Christmas thing. We're celebrating the holidays, right? Hence the sweater that you're rocking.
Celebrating holiday. Yeah, I've got the Bayern Munich one on just for you. I've got me old, National Lampoon Santa hat on here. I'm ready to rock for the holidays, baby. And it looks like you're ready to go to some sort of weird sex party.
Before we start, I'm going to get ahead of the comments on this one. I am not a furry. This is not a fur thing. This is not a sex thing. Even though there is a weird butt zipper in the back that lets you open up from behind, this is not a sex thing. It is a wonderful gift, and I feel good in it, Ian. And that's what matters, damn it!
We gotta get into the shows more later on in the evening because the content is just delightful. Hey, welcome along to the show, everybody, loyal listeners. We are so happy to have you here on Stoppage Time with myself, IPJ, and of course, John Buckets. I'm our Buckets. How has your week been? Because last weekend, I'm not gonna lie, it was fucking wild, man. Real Madrid drew. Barcelona lost. Bayern Munich lost. Borussia Dortmund gave up a 90th minute fucking equalizer. That was miserable. Arsenal couldn't fucking score in whatever house you're going to after wearing that fucking suit as well. And then Liverpool drew as well. I mean, the results were absolutely insane.
It's crazy that the least insane result was Manchester United beating Manchester City. That felt like the most normal thing of the whole weekend. I got my ass kicked up, down, left, right, all around from the betting space. But you know how we do, baby. We bounce right the fuck back, and we're going to do it all this weekend, Ian. I'm excited for this show.
No doubt about it. And of course, on Instagram, TikTok, the numbers were very impressive once again. And of course, the YouTube shorts are out there for everybody out there who's looking for just the straight plays. Please go on our social media platforms and follow. Once again, Buckets, every single video on the TikTok platforms are getting over 1,000, which is pretty fucking cool, man. And I tell you, there were some happy people on there.
No, it's impressive, man. And it's fun, too, seeing the comments on the shorts and on some of the shorter stuff, because those are the people that don't know you and I. They don't know the Stoppage Time videos. These are new listeners finding our content because of the hard work that you and Hot Cocoa are putting in, man. I love to see it.
We're all putting in hard work, that is for sure, and creating some pretty awesome content out there. On today's show, we got a rapid show for everybody out there. Looking ahead of the weekend, of course, ahead of the holidays, ahead of Christmas for everybody out there who is celebrating. We're going to give you the best plays, but I've got a challenge for our boy, John Bucketimer. But before we get there, John Bucketimer, let's go to the Mickey Mouse Cup, a.k.a. the UEFA Conference League. It is taking place on Thursday, John Bucketimer. And let's have a look at the table right now because we haven't really touched upon what's happening in the UEFA Conference League, a.k.a. the Disney Cup, a.k.a. the Mickey Mouse Cup, because it's been interesting. Chelsea top of the table right now on 15 points. Obviously, you can see some teams that we can't even pronounce in the top 8 of this competition. And then, of course, you go to the knockout phases where there's more teams that we can't pronounce except for Heidenheim and maybe Copenhagen. And then, of course, you go to the teams who are the unseeded teams that then you have even more teams except for Hearts that I can't really pronounce, and then the ones who are in the relegation zone who are going to go completely out of Europe if they don't pull their finger out of their zipper butthole. Now, Buckets, when you look at the UEFA fixtures that are coming up in the Conference League, we do have some tasty games. Of course, Heidenheim against St. Gallen is an interesting one for the German fans out there. We know Fiorentina against Victoria Guimarães is a good one, but of course it's Chelsea who are top of the table against Shamrock Rovers who are catching our attention. So first and foremost, I want to know from you, have you been placing wagers on the conference?
I have been, but I've been doing it very responsibly because, my word, there is not a harder competition to bet than the Mickey Mouse Cup. It is absolutely insane because you have to look at a squad like Chelsea that is worth more than the other 35 teams combined in this competition and try to figure out who are they going to play? Who are they going to start? Does it matter if they start? Do they even want to be here? So it's tough, but we can still find value in this competition.
There is still value, and of course it's different from Europa League and different from UEFA Champions League because they only go to 6 games. So this Thursday, of course, if you're watching it today, then you know that this is the last match day before the knockout phase actually takes place because there's a larger knockout phase, which is quite crazy. So, Buckets, before we get into the actual show bets, I wanted to ask if I could get a couple of bets from you for UEFA Conference League, if that's okay. I'm looking for 2 best bets. Let's go with your first one.
For the first one, I'm going to a matchup that I had to just pick the teams that I knew kind of how to pronounce because this would have been a doozy if I was giving you my best bets for Panathinaikos taking on Istanbul Başakşehir. I'm still pretty good at it, but let's talk about Larn versus Ghent. Whew, think I nailed that one. Ghent is the better team here, and it's not even close. Larn is placed 36 out of 36 teams. They are dead last. They are the only team with 0 points. Their journey is over. They could win this game 500 goals to nil, and it just wouldn't matter. This is the last game. They're playing for, maybe you can say pride, you can say whatever you want, but this is a team that is outclassed by every team in this competition. And you have a Ghent side who has good strikers, who has good criteria, a good squad that desperately needs 3 points here. That means that Ghent has to go off. They need to score. They need to worry about goal differential. They need to dominate this game, and they will put their best squad forward to do just that. I've got a weird bet here, though, Ian. I'm going to give the bet and then a lean. The lean is Ghent. I'll give the lean first. Over 2.5 team total at -125. I think Ghent probably win this game 3-0, 4-0, 5-0. It will be a bloodbath. So if you want a safe bet, take Ghent to score 3. The fun bet and the official bet is something I've never done before. Ghent to score between the 15th and 30th minute. And you've got a 15-minute window where Ghent has to score. But if they do that, you cash a nice little plus 175. I think it's going to get 10 minutes to kind of get the wheels rolling. Ghent does have to travel to Northern Ireland for this one. It's going to take them a sec to kind of wake up. But this is what we're going to see. We're going to see a very slow 15 minutes and then Ghent up 2-0 or 3-0 in the first half, Ian. It's a fun one. It's a risky one. But it's 9 p.m. I'm tired and I'm going for it, baby.
Yeah, listen, that's a different one. I'm enjoying that one because obviously Ghent, if they do win their game, as I'm looking at the table right now, they can move up from 13th place and get into the automatic qualification spaces. So goals do matter when you're trying to get into the top 8, which means you bypass the knockout rounds and you can automatically go through. A little bit different in the Conference League, obviously, because it's a little bit crazier, but at the same time, it's pretty cool to see that. So I like that, Bucket, and I think you might see 2 goals in the first half. I'm throwing it out there. 2 goals in the first half, at least from them. So I'm looking forward to seeing if your bet hits. What about your second best bet for the UEFA Conference Mickey League Cup?
For the second best bet for the Mickey Mouse brought to you by Walt Disney Adventures Cup. Probably can't say that. Sorry, Jeff. Go ahead and edit that one out. I'm going for Chelsea versus Shamrock Rovers. I'm going for the best team here that really shouldn't be here. And even when they're playing their U12 squad, they are running over teams right now. Chelsea is the best team in this entire competition. They could beat Shamrock Rovers 45-0 if they played their best 11 for a hard 90 minutes. But as we saw in their last matchup, Chelsea's not doing that because why the hell would they? People don't want to say it. Chelsea doesn't want to say it, but they're in a title race right now. They have other things to focus on, and a pointless game where it doesn't matter if they win or lose against Shamrock Rovers. This is a chance to give some of your younger players a chance to play, rack up goals, get some good experience, and Chelsea's going to do that. Chelsea's probably also going to win this game and score 4 or 5 goals, but both teams to score is currently priced at plus 140. I have to take this because Chelsea defensively is not there right now. They conceded against Astana in the last Mickey Mouse Cup match. Whew, back on December 12th. This team is good enough to win this game 4 or 5, and it just doesn't matter if they play defense right now. Shamrock needs to try to get a point out of this. They probably won't, but they're going to go for goals here. So give me BTTS at plus 140 anytime Chelsea's playing the game right now.
Quite interesting, though. They've only conceded 4 goals and scored 21 in 5 games, Bucket. So I'm intrigued to see why you're taking both teams to score in this one because I'm obviously a Shamrock Rovers fan. I'd like to see them do well, but I'm intrigued against Chelsea. Can they even score a single goal?
I think they can. I think, and I don't know if this is the right word, their congested schedule that they're playing right now, they're just going to be a bit distracted. They've got other things to worry about. And we saw with Astana when they played them, it only takes 1 shot on target or 1 or 2 opportunities to create that goal. I don't think they win or come anywhere close, but I just think Shamrock have one in them still, Ian.
And they've also scored in 9 consecutive games across all competitions. That was what I was trying to tee you up for, but you decided not to go down that road. So maybe the pink suit has got you a little fluffy at this moment in time. Buckets, great stuff. Thank you so much for jumping into the Conference League because, of course, it is a league. I think it's important at some point as we get to the knockout stage, we should touch upon a little bit more. It's obviously the only competition that's going on for UEFA this week. And then, of course, the Europa League and Champions League will be back in 2025 where we'll really get stuck in. Buckets, listen, Hot Cocoa sent me this and I wanted to bring it up to you because it absolutely blew my mind. This was on social media. This was remarkable. And for all you loyal listeners out there, this is why we always remind you to bet responsibly. Listen to this from Linnymaker Sports. This was a social media message that was put out there and it came across. Obviously, Hot Coco, she passed it on to me. According to Forbes Sports, DraftKings and FanDuel have made a combined $9.97 billion in profit so far in 2024, with 85% buckets of the profits coming from parlays.
Yep.
10% of the profits coming from online casinos, which we don't give a fuck about, and 5% of the profits coming from straight wagers. Now, John Bucketimer, I've got more information for you. The average number of legs, including in parlays placed at FanDuel alone, increased by 38% from 2019 to 2023. Of course, it's much higher than that now, which is obviously a major win for obviously big companies like FanDuel and DraftKings. The average parlay odds are also up 260% since 2019 as bettors are chasing higher payouts. Now, Buckets, your thoughts first and foremost before we dive in a little bit deeper on this one.
My thoughts are that, unfortunately, Ian, I am not shocked in the slightest. Everybody who goes into sports betting, you've got different categories, so I shouldn't say everybody, but so many people will see that screenshot of someone turning $10 into 100,000 and say, that's what I need. I need to chase this one brilliant, perfect 20-leg parlay that's going to change my life. And the fact of the matter is the vast majority of players will never have that life-changing moment. You're not going to win $100,000 correctly betting the scores parlayed together of 10 different football matches. It's not going to happen. And if you are putting $10 or $1 for fun, I've got no problem with that. I think sports betting is supposed to be fun. But if you're looking for long-term profit, there's a reason we do straights on the show. There's a reason that when we do parlays, it is responsible 2-3 legs with some higher odds to still try to find you value. You got to be careful betting on parlays because I understand why that trap is there. I know it looks good. I know it's sexy, but it's not smart. And a lot of people don't care, and that's fine. But it's a bummer to see the numbers that high, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, listen, I think it's the social media pressure. Obviously, you can see big companies putting out there on their own social medias. Look at this huge win. It's a 19-legger that hit $5 on, $190,000 back. I mean, it is immense pressure for people out there to think, oh, well, maybe I could do the same by putting $5, $10, $15 on. If I put 10 on, I'll get double that amount. It's immense pressure on social media right now because a lot of people out there are showing their winning tickets and not many people out there are showing their losing tickets. Now, we're not ones to boast about our losses and show everybody about our losses, or do we even talk much about our wins? We just give you the plays, we give you the leans, we give you information and knowledge so that you can go create your own plays. But what this information is telling me, Buckets, is that people out there have got to be very fucking smart, because right now, there's no doubt that the sports books are winning. They're winning because you're being irresponsible and trying to add too many legs to your parlay. You can still place parlays, but keep it reasonable and you will have a better chance. So therefore, John Bucketimer, I thought I would give you a challenge this weekend. Do you accept before I give you the rules?
Oh, you know I'm accepting no matter what. Let's hear it.
All right, let's get into it. You know, it wouldn't be an episode of Stoppage Time if we didn't use some wagers from our betting expert. Yes, that is right, our blonde bombshell, our betting unicorn, the pink fluffy fluffer, John Bucketimer. Welcome back to Buckets. Is about to hit the big time once again. Hey, Buckets, I'm looking for 6 weekend bets from you. Of course, I'm looking for Friday, Saturday, Sunday. But instead of just our regular fucking crazy bets, I want 2 best bets for each day, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I'm looking at 1 best straight bet. Remember, 5% of those wins were coming from straight bets. And I'm also looking for 1 best parlay. Remember, 85% of the fucking crazy clowns out there are losing their money. $9.97 billion given to these sports books. The reason why our show Stoppage Time is here is because we want you to fucking win. We want the sports books to lose. So John Bucketimer, for each day, I'm looking at a best bet as a straight, and I'm looking for a best parlay. Now, the odds must be in between minus 120 and plus 120 odds so that we can see how close you get to actually having success. Can we have success as parlays and straights? If you bet responsibly, can you get there? So Buckets, what do you think of those rules? Do you think it's possible? Do you think you've got good enough bets ready for me today?
I think that I'm about to show every single one of you out there that it is definitely possible because I can absolutely do that, baby.
All right, let's get to Friday. We'll begin with your straight bet on Friday. So you can go anywhere, obviously, with the straight bet. You can have players, you can have money lines, whatever you want. But we're looking for a straight bet for the games on Friday.
Friday, I'm going to a league that I believe you are quite fond of here, Ian. I am looking at the Scottish Premiership in a matchup between Motherwell and Kilmarnock, and I'm taking both teams to score as a straight at -120 within your lines there. Because if you look at the top five currently in the Scottish Prem, you have four really good defenses. Celtic have only scored or conceded 4 goals in 15 games. Rangers 9-15, Aberdeen 18-16, and Dundee United 19-16. But then there's Motherwell, who is fourth on the table and who have conceded 26 goals in their 16 matches and who have conceded in 8 home games straight. Motherwell is a good side. They're scoring goals, starting to build some momentum with 22 scored in their 16 matches. But defensively, they are not a top 5 team, even though they are still in the top 5. Kilmarnock have conceded the most goals in the league, so I'm not worried about Motherwell scoring, but I do like the fact that Motherwell at home have not been defending. I love BTTS here, Ian, at -120 to get us started.
Yeah, really interesting. Obviously, this one, when you look at the league positions as well, Motherwell are fourth in the table. Kilmarnock are eighth in the table. Obviously, Motherwell sitting on 25 points. The 8 victories from 16 games played, also 7 defeats as well. The goals scored 22, 26 conceded. Kilmarnock, 4 wins from 17 games played so far, 8 defeats, 18 goals scored, 34 conceded, which is quite ridiculous. Now, at home, you were talking about Motherwell having some sort of success. They've won 4 from 8 of them. They've lost 3, scored 11, conceded 13. So I like this play buckets because they need to score more goals, but they also need to concede less goals. And it looks like they like to concede goals at home. And this is, of course, the Scottish Premiership. And it is on a Friday night with the Friday night lights, where, of course, the Scots go crazy on Friday nights, man, because it's the weekend. Let's get ready to party. So I'm thinking this is going to have goals in it. I love the bet. Okay, there's the straight bet. Love the bet. Love the play. What was the odds again?
-120.
Fucking perfect. Let's go to your parlay and let's see what you got for us on Friday, baby.
My parlay is going to be +100, also within the realm we're shooting for. It is 2 legs, one in La Liga and one in Italy's Serie A. The first leg is Girona versus Real Valladolid, over 1.5 goals. The second leg is Hellas Verona over AC Milan. Hellas Verona just to score, not BTTS, not over 2.5, just a Verona goal here. That's at +100. When you look at Girona Valladolid, I love over 1.5 goals in this game because Valladolid doesn't play defense at all. In fact, they've got the most goals conceded in all of La Liga, with 34 conceded in 17 matches. They are averaging conceding 2 goals a game. And Girona, they've been a little bit iffy, a little bit inconsistent. It sucks seeing them lose some of their great strikers that made them great last season. But right now, anyone can score 2 against Valladolid. And this is just the match total. If Valladolid contributed that goal total, fine with me. Then for the Serie A matchup here, Hellas Verona, they are playing like bats. I think bat out of hell might be the term. That might not be the term. It doesn't matter because Hellas Verona know that they are fighting in a relegation battle right now. They are 17th on the table, just 1 win in their last 5 matches. But this team is just saying, fuck it. They are going for goals. They do not play defense at all because they know they're going to concede 2 or 3 goals, which means they have to score goals. AC Milan, definitely a tricky side, but going against a desperate Verona, I think they get that 1 goal to cash this parlay.
You know what's pretty crazy? Hellas Verona, if you look at their table position right now, it's absolutely insane. They are 17th in the table above that relegation zone that you just talked about. They have won 5 and lost 11, 0 draws. And they're the opposite of Juventus. They don't give a fuck. They're either going to go for it or they're going to concede, which is quite crazy. I think the last 3 games they played against AC Milan across all competitions at home, they've actually scored a goal in there, so that bodes well for you. Buckets, I really like that one. That's tasty. And in plus numbers at +100, that is quite a tasty bet. And that's how you fucking do it. That's Friday taken care of. Let's go to Saturday and begin with your straight bet for Saturday.
You know what's crazy about the Saturday straight bet that's honestly kind of pissing me off a little bit is we have a Bundesliga matchup where both teams to score by itself is -120. And it's a good matchup with good scoring teams. Leverkusen versus Freiburg, both teams to score -120. I feel like even though Leverkusen is second on the table, they're playing great, they're scoring goals. We're getting numbers from the Leverkusen we saw last season because this Leverkusen has still conceded 20 goals in their 14 matches, and they're playing a Freiburg team who is 5th on the table. A Freiburg team now that is consistently scoring against good sides. A team that just beat Wolfsburg 3-2, a team that beat Gladbach 3-1 early this season, 1-1 Hoffenheim, 3-1 Armenia in the Pokal Cup. This is a team that in recent form is consistently scoring goals. And again, when you're playing a giant like Leverkusen, you know if you want to win this game, you're going to have to score goals. You cannot park the bus for 90 minutes against Bayer Leverkusen and expect a draw here. I love both teams to score. I also think Leverkusen win, but BTTS at -120, all day, Ian.
You know, Freiburg, they've
Uh-oh.
only scored 6 away goals this season from 7 away games. You know that, right?
I do know that now.
But I fucking love this bet, and I'm telling you why. Right, if you look at the head-to-head between these two teams, the last 5 games, there has been a goal from Freiburg on the road. They have relatively decent success against them as well. But I do like this because I do believe in you that Freiburg are actually getting themselves their act together. They're starting to put together some good results and certainly putting together better performances. And at some point, they're going to have that surprising result. This is not a walk in the park for Leverkusen. Now, Leverkusen might win this game by 3 or 4 goals, but at the same time, Freiburg only could need to score 1 goal to actually cause problems here. Could end up in a draw. So I like both teams to score here in this game. And I definitely think that Freiburg can cause some problems. Can they win there? I mean, they have to score that first goal and make it happen. That's going to be very, very difficult for them to do. But I mean, listen, I like it. I do think that both teams are going to be after it. I think you should see goals. Again, it's a big game, so I do like this one as well. And I'm a big fan of Freiburg because one of my former teammates is the assistant manager at Freiburg, and I want him to do really successful under Schuster as well. All right, let's go to your parlay on Saturday. A ton of games to look forward to, obviously. That's why I didn't even read out the schedule because there's so many fucking games ahead of the holidays. So, Bacchus, where are you going?
I am going to the Portuguese Primera, and I'm going to show all of you parlays can be within the same game as the same game parlay. So 2 legs on the same matchup, and there is no way in hell I'm pronouncing this team right. So I apologize to our Portuguese listeners. Morlians, maybe? Sounded good. Taking on Porto. And like a shark smelling blood in the water, Ian. Dun-dun, 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 dun-dun. Porto smelled that the Sporting side above them on the table is bleeding right now. Sporting, who were so good and who were unbeatable for the first 10 games of the season, are falling apart. And Porto now has an opportunity to continue to gain ground against a Sporting side that looked like they were going to win this league without dropping a single point. Porto, this is your chance. You got to show up. You're second on the table. You're only 2 points behind. They are looking good this season. 33 goals scored in 14 games and an incredible only 9 goals conceded. You have to beat Morientes because Sporting eventually is going to get their shit back together, and you got to take advantage of these easier games while you can. I am taking Porto over 1.5 team total. Same game parlayed with Porto on the money line. That gets you to minus 120. I think Porto win this game 2-0 or 2-1, and this covers both of those score lines because Porto has to score 2, and they have to get the money line for this to cash.
Yeah, looking at the table position is quite interesting, obviously, especially at home. Morientes is actually 1-4 from 6. They're undefeated at home, which is quite interesting. Actually, if I'm not mistaken, I think in November they played against Porto in the Taça de Portugal, which I think is the cup competition in Portugal. They actually beat Porto on that day, and I think they won by 2-1. So obviously that can happen, but I think you're right. I mean, listen, Porto are sensing that there's an opportunity here to get back into a title race, and at one point, Porto were completely out of this title race, as far as I'm concerned. And then what happens? Benfica fucking make crazy moves, Sporting make crazy moves, and eventually there's a title race once again, and Porto are back in it. So listen, you've got to look at the table right now and understand that Porto can go top of the table. You have to sense that because of that feeling, and I know that Sporting don't play, I think they play on Sunday, but with them playing on Saturday, they can go top of the table on Saturday, which is quite special. So I'm excited to see if that pulls off. So you got to go for goals. You got to go for the 2, 3, 4 goals. You got to kill the game. And maybe even early on in that game, go for it early. Shut the game down. Don't give the home side momentum, because if you give them momentum, it's much more difficult in the second half to get a couple of goals. So I wouldn't even be surprised to see if they score a couple of goals in the first 45 minutes in that fucking game bucket. So I think this one's a tasty play as well. Nice job right there, man. Let's go to Sunday because crazy games again. It's quite ridiculous. And yeah, let's shoot away.
Sunday, I've got a plus 120 single still within that range here, and it is going to Italy's Serie A. And I know what we're all thinking right now. Serie A, top of the table. Is it Napoli? Is it Inter Milan? Is it AC Milan? Is it Fiord? No, it is Atalanta. And Atalanta might just be one of the best damn teams in all of Europe right now. They are just running over teams right now. At the time of filming this, they played Cesena. That's not right. However you say it, they played a Serie B side, and people are like, Buckets, they might slow down. They might take it easy. It was like 5-0 in the first 30 minutes. This team is devastating. They have one of the best attacks, not only in Italy, but in all of Europe right now. They've got David Zappacosta. They've got Charles de Catalare. They've got Adamola Lookman. They've got Retigui. They've got so many good strikers. and they are just playing some of the most attack-focused football I have ever seen in my football watching career, which is only about 2.5 years, to be fair. But Atalanta is just an absolute treat on the eye right now. And Empoli, who is a good defensive team, a team that likes to lock shit down and play for nil-nils, are about to get blown up. Not the most technical turn there, but I'm taking Atalanta over 2.5 team total. I think Atalanta score at least 3 here at plus 120, but I wouldn't be shocked if they score 4 or 5 because they just have that much momentum going right now and playing at home after a great cup victory. Give me all the goals here, Ian. I just don't care right now. Bet on overs.
Yeah, your pronunciation is awesome. I can almost guarantee you that on TikTok and all the social media reels that
I'm going to
people
get roasted.
fucking loving your pronunciation of pretty much
Ugh.
every player and the team that they're competing against today in Empoli. Listen, Atalanta have scored 39 goals from 16 games. They've won 12. I think they're on a 10-game winning streak in Serie A consecutively, which is absolutely insane. I was looking at their schedule because we were talking about it on Scoreline on CBS Sports Galazzo Network with Adam Hunt, my partner, and I think since the beginning of October, they've played 16 games and they've won 14 of those 16 games.
So
They've drawn one, and the only loss was against Real Madrid, which, of course, they were in that game for a long period of it as well. It's insane. I mean, this run that they're on is absolutely fabulous, but this is a big game for them because they've got then obviously the Christmas to enjoy. And then after Christmas, they've got a trip to Lazio. And then here's where it gets interesting. The game's in January. At Inter in the Supercoppa, Udinese away from home, Juventus at home January 14th, Napoli at home January 19th, Champions League game against Sturm Graz, which I think they'll have no problem with. They've got a trip to newly promoted side Como, and then they've got Barcelona at the end of January. That is like a ridiculous January for them, so they need to win this game. Important. Love the game, love the bet, love the play. Nice to see buckets. You're actually a big fan of Atalanta right now. Seems like a team that would fit your style. All right, let's go to the parlay bet for Sunday before we get the fuck out of here.
last thing I'll say is Atalanta is doing everything I wish my beloved Bayern Munich would do. Now let's talk parlays on Sunday because once again, plus 100, 2 legs, and this is the EPL parlay. People saying, buckets, why aren't you betting on Bayern Munich? Have you watched them play right now? Don't waste your money. Instead, put your money on this 2-leg parlay. It's 2 matches starting with Tottenham Hotspurs versus Liverpool. Hotspurs have to be the most difficult team on the planet to bet right now. Are they going to beat Man City 4-0? Are they going to lose 3-0 to Southside High School? Are they going to put 5 past Southampton in the first half? Who the hell knows? But what I do know is that Liverpool is the better side. Even though they're coming off a few iffy matches here, a couple draws in EPL play, they are a good ass team, and good ass teams, Ian, score over 1.5 team total. So the first leg is Liverpool to score 2+ goals, and I'm parlaying that with Fulham versus Southampton. Fulham over 1.5 team total as well. I'm not doing this because Fulham is fantastic. They're scoring a lot of goals. They're 8th on the table, but I'm doing this because Southampton is just one of the most, I'm going to keep it PG, but it's a hard team to watch right now, and it's an even harder team to bet on. Defense is just non-existent. This team should not be here. They're already prepping for championship against next season. Fulham over 1.5 team total, Liverpool over 1.5 team total, parlayed together, even money, plus 100.
Love the plays, buckets. Love your style. Love the challenge. What did you think? Obviously, I set you the challenge the night before, obviously, recording our show, and I wanted to just do something different because, I mean, that actual social media post kind of scared me a little bit, and it made me realize that there's a lot of people out there sometimes who are taking our information but maybe adding it to other plays that they want to go with, and maybe not having success, and you're getting frustrated with it. And of course, there is a way to play parlays, and you can be good at parlays. I'm pretty good at parlays, and I know you are too, Buckets. You don't play too many of them. So I'm intrigued to see how our loyal listeners react to a show like this, where we give them exactly what they're looking for, sensible lines where we feel you can actually beat the sportsbook. So how do you feel?
I feel really good about it, honestly, because I think parlays, because of stuff we've already talked about, get such a negative mindset about them that people think I either have to go big or don't have to do it at all. We're showing you that you can do parlays in a healthy, responsible, hopefully successful way here as well, though. Don't put
Yeah.
up the plus 10,000s, play the nice plus 120s, cash the ticket, and enjoy a good Christmas.
Yeah, I agree with that. And speaking of the holidays, Buckets, Merry Christmas to you. Happy holidays to everybody out there who is celebrating. And I hope you have a wonderful time. Be safe, be responsible, enjoy a few drinks if you're old enough to do so and responsible enough to enjoy a few bevies with the loved ones around there. I hope the children are all having a great time as well. I hope you fathers out there are looking after your kids. And I hope, obviously, you mothers out there, there's like 2% of females who actually watch the show. So those 2% out there, we wish you obviously a wonderful Christmas as well. John Bucket Timer, what is the plan? We're going to take a bit of a break over the holiday season, but we will get straight back into it after Christmas. What's the plan for yourself? What do you vision yourself doing, obviously, between now and Christmas? Spending some time with loved ones?
I am taking the girlfriend to meet the Bucket Clan, which
No.
is yeah. That's how you know.
Wow.
That's how you know this is real. But she's going to be staying with the family for 2 days, so we'll see if we're still together come end of the holidays here.
Now, this must be a big step for the family as well, because I can't imagine there's too many girls that you take back to your family.
No, none. This is the first one in a very long time, so they're very excited. I'm very excited as well. It'll be good to see all the siblings and everything as well.
And how is she feeling, this nameless person that we haven't mentioned on the show?
This nameless, faceless person that might not even be real at this point is a little bit nervous, but she's going to kick ass. I know she will.
She loves zippers, so you never know what can happen to your ass. Listen, happy Christmas to you. Merry Christmas to you. Thank you for all the great work that you've done this year. To the loyal listeners out there, be safe, be responsible, and please enjoy the holidays as much as you possibly can. Producer Jeff, got to say a big thank you to you for all the great work that you've done this year. I mean, we might squeeze one more show in before the end of the year because we know that in the UK, the games are crazy. But thank you so much for all the great work that you've done behind the scenes as well. To Hot Coco, all the great work that she's done on social media platforms and obviously doing whatever she possibly can with the Major League Soccer bets. I know we're taking a bit of a Major League Soccer break, but please, everybody go out there on our YouTube page, comment, please, as much as you possibly can. Just say Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, whatever it is that you are celebrating right now. Make sure you subscribe to the channel first and foremost. Make sure you're liking all of the shows so that it helps the algorithm build the fucking channel as much as we possibly can. We're continually pushing our show, and I think we're going to continue to push it all the way through to next summer. And hopefully by then we're not dead, and hopefully by then we do actually have a fucking sponsor or a partner that we can actually grow our show to and take it to the next fucking level, because that's where we deserve to be. Right now, we're being patient. We're waiting for a specific partner. We want to be patient and make sure that whoever we partner with is what our loyal listeners want. So we're kind of doing it for you. We're also doing it for the fucking money, because we know this is worth a shit ton of money. So we're making sure that whoever comes in here has got heavy pockets. But Buckets, it is pretty awesome to see what we've done this past year, and I can't thank you enough for all the great work you've done.
Yeah, thank you to you as well. Thank you to Hot Coco. Thank you to Jeff. And thank you to all of the listeners here, because as we've said 100 times, this show is made for you, but it's not possible without you. So keep commenting, keep subscribing, help us take this to the next level, because that's always been the plan. We never wanted to be just a YouTube show. We wanted to take over the fucking world, baby.
Merry Christmas, everybody. Happy holidays to everybody out there. Please make sure what we are going to do this weekend, you do exactly the same. Make sure with the parlays and the straights, please make sure you absolutely have it!
Stoppage time.